evening, folks. Gary Stein here with Armed Forces Tea Party. This is our first of hopefully many vlogs or blogs or podcasts or whatever the lingo is for it these days. We're going to hit a couple topics each time we do this. Today we're going to be talking about the Obama administration stepping in on Texas voter ID law. We're going to talk about the shooting in Afghanistan over the weekend and our take on it. And then we're going to talk a little bit on the investigation and what's been going on. That's just going to be a quick update. We don't want to spend too much time on that. Alright, so here we go. Alright, folks, diving into our first topic of the night is the battle between the Obama administration and Texas. Having to do with this voter ID law. Basically, Texas has passed a law where it states that if you would like to vote, you need to have a valid ID to prove who you are. Not that difficult. We show our ID every day for all different things just within our day-to-day life. But the Obama administration sees this as a discriminatory thing, and I'm not sure how they get that. So let me get this straight. The next time I go to the store and I use my credit card and they want to show they ask me to show my ID, am I allowed to say no? I don't want to show my ID because that would be discriminatory. Because I may not have an ID. Now that's really what this is about. Is it discriminatory to ask somebody for an ID? Listen, if you would want to vote, show an ID. It's not that hard. If you want to drive, have a driver's license, right? It's not that difficult. But somehow this is an attack on minorities, and we know the Obama administration cares more about the minorities than they care about the majority. This is something we've seen over and over and over. I guess my big issue with this is, why does the Obama administration constantly attack the states? Why are they talking about the federal economy? Why are they talking about federal issues? They're always in the state's business. How do we expect the federal government to get anything done if they're always rummaging in the state's business? They get into it with Arizona over their election laws. They get into it with Georgia. Now they're in voter ID laws with Texas. Why can't the Obama administration, why can't the Attorney General and the Assistant Attorney General stay out of state issues? These are state issues. If a state wants to make a law where it says you have to show ID to vote, let them do it. It's their choice. It's something their elected officials, who's elected by a majority, by a vote, does. Listen, if you want to vote, go get an ID. It's not that difficult. What do they expect Texas to do? Have the DPS or the DMV, whatever they call it there, go door to door and register people to get IDs? You can't expect them to do it. You know, we need to have a little bit more self-responsibility and go out there and get the IDs. This is totally right up the path of what we've seen from the Obama administration and what we've seen in the last 3 years. You know, it's liberal 101, it's Democrat 101. You know, who cares what the states say? It's what we say. We're the federal government. We rule over you guys. This is ridiculous. And I hope Texas takes this when it goes to Washington and just smashes them. I hope they pull up the Constitution and show them, the 10th Amendment and say, look, we have states' rights. You need to respect them or back off. I hope they do that. And I think they will, because I think Governor Rick Perry might be looking at a vice presidential bid here soon, or possibly running for governor again. So I think he's going to stand up the way we all hope he will. Moving into our next topic really quick. I don't want to keep you guys forever. I'm going to try to make this podcast thing about less than 10 minutes usually. We're going to talk about what happened in Afghanistan over the weekend with the Army staff sergeant who went out and killed 16 innocent people, from what we're being told. I was asked on CNN what I thought. You know what? And CNN has a very clever thing that's called, I think they pronounce it as editing. Yes, it's called editing. That's what they call it. And they edited some of the questions they asked me out. And I'll tell you what those questions were. But first of all, the news is that a U.S. soldier left base, walked about 500 yards with his weapon, and opened fire on innocent women and children and some men, killing approximately 16. He then turned around, came back on base, turned himself in. He has invoked his rights not to talk, and he's not cooperating. And my fingers are moving in the quotation marks right now, not cooperating. with the investigators, and I'm not sure what they call not cooperating. If he invokes his right, he's invoking his right not to talk. So I don't count that as not cooperating. I count that as exercising your rights. So I'm not sure where they're getting the not cooperating. But the bigger issue here is I've seen it all over CNN, people talking, and over Fox News. How did he get out? Why weren't they watching him? And this is what the bigger issue is: PTSD and the lack of training that some units have to recognize this. And it's not a new thing. We've seen it throughout wars, but I think the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, has really brought PTSD to a national level, national news, with what's going on. And my question is, were there warning signs for this soldier? This was his fourth deployment. His last deployment in 2010, he was severely injured, has traumatic brain injury from what we were told, and he snapped. What do we expect from these soldiers who have been away from their families, for 10 years now, have been deployments after deployments after deployments? What do we expect? We're all human beings, okay? Yes, soldiers and Marines and sailors and airmen and the coasties have been through a little bit more training than the average civilian. Yes, we're in a military mindset, but we're still human beings, and we have a breaking point. And now we see the Obama administration coming out and saying that we're gonna press the full extent against this soldier, and we're gonna get justice for the Afghan people. And I don't see them taking the side of this soldier. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not justifying what happened. I'm not justifying him going out and killing these innocent women and children. And I know that the liberals that are listening to this are going to somehow get that. So let me be very clear. There is no justification for what he did. It is immoral. It is very wrong. It is horrible, and it is heinous for what he did. But we need to prevent this. We need to learn from this. President Obama should have went out there and said, or the Secretary of Defense should have went out there and said, this is a horrible, horrible act done by this soldier. But it is a drastic reminder of the issues that we have in this 10-year-long war because of PTSD and the other traumatic things that are happening with our soldiers. That's what he should have said. He should have brought the limelight PTSD. I'm not even sure if I've ever even heard him say PTSD. Oh, did you hear that? I just heard all the liberal bloggers get on their computers and they're trying to look for the quote where he talked about PTSD to prove me wrong, and I imagine he will, but I'm just saying I never have. So let's focus on PTSD. Let's focus on getting our VA hospitals up to date with the research of PTSD, putting more money into it so these problems don't happen. Let's educate our senior leadership within the military to recognize signs. I don't know how many suicide briefs I have been through in the career in the Marine Corps. Probably at least 1,000. I'm ballparking, and I probably am not exaggerating. And you ask any other Marine that I know, can say he's been through a whole hell of a lot suicide briefs. So why aren't we sitting through PTSD briefs? Why aren't we learning as NCOs, and why aren't we learning as staff NCOs the warning signs? So we learn the warning signs for alcoholism, gambling, suicide, but I have yet to sit through a brief that shows us the warning signs of PTSD. And I think it's about damn time that we start doing that. We have to help these soldiers. We cannot give them no help, and then when they finally do snap, turn our backs on them and say we're going for the death penalty. That is wrong. That is wrong for the Secretary of Defense to say. It is wrong for any elected official to say. They should turn their back and say, we're going to wash our hands. We're going to clean the blood off. Hey, we didn't help this soldier out, when he had traumatic brain injury, and we didn't help him out when the signs were PTSD. But hey, he did it on his own. We're out of here. We're going to fry him. That's wrong, and we need to fix that. All right. Got my blood pressure down now. I'm feeling a little bit better. Calm down, relax, a little goose fraba. All right, here we go. My investigation is going on about my comments that were allegedly disloyal to the president. I want to give you an update. Here's the update. There is no update. I have still not been told anything by the Marine Corps. I have been denied any comments by my officers appointed above me. They have not told me anything. They will not comment about it. So I am just waiting. And you know what? As I'm waiting, I'm going to keep carrying on what I've been doing for the last 2 years. being as the founder of Armed Forces Tea Party. I do have many people ask, do we have moderators? We have 3 other moderators. I'm not gonna just say their names right now because I'm not sure if they want to know their names, but if they do, they can announce it later. We do have other moderators, although I am the one who does most of probably 99.9% of the status updates given by Armed Forces Tea Party are ones that I've written or I've gotten from other places and posted on there. And no, by no means do I have this crazy intelligent brain to come up with these really cool status updates. Okay, that's not all my doing. I take them from all different places. Some do come from my heart and come from my mind, and some places come from the internet. So that being said, I'm going to keep continuing what I'm doing. I've come under attack. I've probably got 1,000 to 2,000 emails in the past week. Just hate-filled emails. The normal liberal mantra. The first thing they do is they call me a racist, which is laughable to me because I think racism is disgusting, and I think it undermines the Tea Party's values, and it undermines the Tea Party. It takes away from our message. They call me a traitor. Listen, folks, I've never said that I will not follow lawful orders from the president or anybody appointed over me. I've never said that, so let's be clear. I will, Gary A. Stein, will follow lawful orders given to me by the President of the United States and the officers and senior enlisted Marines or anybody else that happen to fall ahead of me orders. I will follow lawful orders. That being said, I will not follow unlawful orders. And if you can find a soldier or a Marine or an airman or a sailor that says, you know what, I will follow unlawful orders, that's the person you need to be going after. That's the person that says, I don't care what the law says. I don't care what the Constitution says. I'm going to do what I'm told to do. That's not a defense. Following unlawful orders, just following orders, is not a defense once you get court-martialed. If I'm in Afghanistan and a platoon commander comes up to me and says, hey, go out there and just take out that village. Everybody's in there. I want them dead. Women, children, men, goats, dogs, sheep, the cat that we saw in the alley the other day, all of them dead. And I go, well, okay, sir, I'm going to go dead that right now. And I go out there and I shoot them all. That's an unlawful order. It's immoral. It's horrible. It's an unlawful order. So I don't understand why people are so upset about saying I will not follow unlawful orders. Let me ask you a question. If you're sitting at home and you hear a knock on the door, and there's a Marine or a soldier sitting there and says, hi, sir, my name is so-and-so. I need to take your weapons from you. I've been ordered to take your weapons for you. What are you going to say? I know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, like hell you're not. I have the right to bear arms. It's my Second Amendment right. I don't know if you've read the Constitution lately, but it's your Second Amendment right too. And who gave you this order so I can speak to him? So, again, let me be very clear. I will follow lawful orders. I will not follow unlawful orders, no matter who they're from. I will not. And I hope that every God-fearing, Constitution-loving, conservative and liberal, Republican and Democrat, soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine out there will say the same thing, that they will not follow unlawful orders. Alright, folks, I'm out of here. I've taken entirely too much of your time this evening. Thank you for listening. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked some of my thoughts, and I'd love to see your comments under here. I'd also love to see your comments in the Armed Forces Tea Party page or on my personal page. If you search for Gary Stein in your Facebook bar, you'll see me in a gray shirt and I don't even know what color tie I'm in, with my bald hair, which I have, my bald head. I do have hair now. So look me up. Let's discuss these. Hey, maybe I'm not seeing something that you see, and maybe I'm seeing something you're not seeing. We can discuss it and we can talk about it like adults, not scream and like some of the other people do when they get on there. So let me hear your comments. I want to hear them. Let's discuss it. Have a great night, and Semper Fi.